A woman sits in jail, waiting to face trial for the murder of her pregnant friend and the death of that friend's unborn baby. She calls her mother. She cries about missing her children. She complains about the lights inside her cell and worries that she will not be allowed to wear makeup in court. Then she refers to the crime that destroyed two families as one horrible thing. Tonight, we're examining the prison calls, the lies, and the evidence that sent Taylor Parker to Texas death row. Welcome to the podcast, You Can't Unhear. A warning before we begin. This episode involves the murder of a pregnant woman and the death of her unborn child. We will avoid graphic detail and focus instead on the deception, the investigation, the court evidence, and the families left behind. But if this is a sensitive topic for you, I'd suggest you stop here. Viewer discretion is advised. Let's start. Taylor Renee Parker had 2 children of her own. She became a mother for the first time at 17, and later had a second child during another relationship. Her medical history eventually left her unable to carry another pregnancy. Court records show she underwent a hysterectomy years before the murder. Yet in 2020, while dating Wade Griffin, Parker announced that she was pregnant. It was not a momentary lie. It became an entire alternate reality. She wore a prosthetic stomach, staged medical appointments, produced false ultrasound images, discussed possible names, hosted a gender reveal. And she repeatedly adjusted her due date, keeping the deception alive whenever questions began closing in. The lie served a purpose. According to evidence presented at trial, Parker feared losing her relationship with Griffin. She created the pregnancy partly to keep him emotionally committed, then built increasingly elaborate explanations whenever reality threatened to expose her. Her mother, Shona Pryor, knew Parker had undergone a hysterectomy. She therefore knew the pregnancy could not be real. But during testimony, Pryor said she did not directly confront her daughter. She believed the lie would eventually collapse, or that Griffin and his family would recognize the truth themselves. Pryor also feared that challenging Taylor could cost her access to her grandchildren. That silence would later become one of the most painful questions in the case. How many people sensed something was wrong? And why did no one stop the deception before it reached its final stage? Reagan Simmons-Hancock was 21 years old. She lived in New Boston, Texas, with her husband, Homer Hancock, and their young daughter. She was expecting another child, a baby girl named Braxlynn Sage. Reagan and Parker knew one another. Parker had access to Reagan's life through friendship, social media, and ordinary community contact. She knew Reagan was pregnant. She knew approximately when the baby was due, and prosecutors argued that Parker gradually selected Reagan as the solution to the impossible lie she had created. On October 9th, 2020, Parker went to Reagan's home. She killed Reagan, removed Braxlynn, and left with the baby. Parker then drove toward Oklahoma, claiming she had gone into labor on the side of the road. A Texas state trooper stopped her vehicle after observing dangerous driving. Parker told him the baby was hers. Emergency personnel quickly saw that something was wrong. Parker showed no physical signs of having just given birth. Braxlynn could not be saved. Investigators soon connected the child to Reagan, whose mother had discovered her dead at home. The investigation unraveled Parker's pregnancy almost immediately. There was no genuine prenatal care. No legitimate delivery plan. No medical evidence of pregnancy. Instead, detectives found months of fabricated appointments, false documents, internet searches and purchases designed to sustain the illusion. The case was never simply about an impulsive confrontation. Prosecutors said the false pregnancy created a countdown. As Parker's claimed due date passed, she needed a baby, or everyone would discover the truth. Parker was charged with capital murder. Under the prosecution's theory, she killed Reagan while committing or attempting to commit the kidnapping of Braxlynn. At trial, Parker's lawyers did not deny that she caused Reagan's death. The major dispute involved whether Braxlynn had been born alive, a question that mattered to the kidnapping element that elevated the case to capital murder. Medical witnesses testified about signs that Braxlynn had been alive after removal. The jury accepted the prosecution's case. Parker was convicted in October 2022. The trial then moved into the punishment phase, where jurors had to decide whether she should receive life imprisonment or death. Prosecutors introduced evidence extending far beyond the crime itself. They argued that Parker had spent years manipulating people, creating false emergencies, committing fraud, and using lies to control relationships. They also presented evidence of her conduct while incarcerated, including calls, emails, letters, and attempts to involve other people in new schemes. The jail calls between Parker and her mother have received renewed attention since the release of Netflix's Maternal Instinct. In one call, Parker reportedly described her actions as one horrible thing. The wording disturbed listeners because of its scale. She was not speaking about a single, regrettable argument. Reagan was dead. Braxlynn was dead. A young child had lost her mother and baby sister. 2 extended families had been permanently altered. Yet Parker appeared to compress all of that into one mistake. When Parker's mother asked whether something was psychologically wrong with her, Parker reportedly redirected the discussion toward the possibility of reducing her bond. The exchange reflected a pattern prosecutors emphasized at trial. When conversations approached accountability, Parker often shifted toward what she needed, what she was experiencing, or how the legal process affected her. The jail calls do not provide a full psychological evaluation, but prosecutors argued they showed self-focus, manipulation, and an absence of meaningful remorse. In another conversation, Parker complained about being unable to see her children. Her mother responded bluntly. Had Taylor been thinking about the children already living on Earth? She might not be in jail. It was a devastating response, because Parker's claimed desire for motherhood had become central to the public story. But Parker already had children. The prosecution's argument was not that she killed because she desperately wanted to experience motherhood. It was that she wanted to maintain control over a relationship, protect a lie, and preserve the life she had built around that deception. Her existing children became collateral damage. The calls also captured Parker discussing conditions inside jail. She complained that lights remained on constantly and connected the situation to migraines. She worried about whether she could wear makeup during court appearances and reportedly described the restriction as unfair. Those subjects might appear trivial. People in jail still experience discomfort, illness, fear, and concern about appearance. But during a capital murder trial, the contrast became powerful. Reagan's family was preparing to hear evidence about her final moments. Parker appeared preoccupied with how she would look before the jury. Prosecutors also introduced Parker's own written words. In letters, she acknowledged that she could manipulate people. She reportedly offered to assist law enforcement or the FBI with criminal profiling, suggesting her understanding of deceptive behavior could be useful. Other evidence indicated that she had studied offenders, criminal psychology, and people she described as favorite criminals. That material did not prove the murder. The physical, digital, medical, and circumstantial evidence had already established the case. But during sentencing, the letters helped prosecutors argue that Parker remained fascinated with manipulation and believed she could turn even her own criminality into an advantage. Evidence was also presented that Parker experienced withdrawal from prescription opioids after her arrest. Her history included repeated medical procedures, pain complaints, and access to medication. The defense used her mental and medical background to argue that her judgment and personality had been affected by trauma, illness, and possible brain abnormalities. They asked the jury to view her as psychologically damaged rather than permanently dangerous. But a difficult childhood, medical trauma, addiction, or mental illness does not automatically eliminate legal responsibility. The jury had to decide whether those factors were powerful enough to justify mercy. And they decided they were not. Parker's relationship with her mother became a major theme. At trial, Pryor testified about Taylor's history of deception, her fake pregnancy, and the family's failure to confront her. Some later commentaries suggested Parker may have resented her mother because medical decisions made during earlier surgeries permanently ended her fertility. There may have been anger, grief, or unresolved conflict around those events. But the surviving evidence does not establish one simple cause for Parker's behavior. Many people experience infertility, medical trauma, or resentment toward family members. But they do not murder pregnant friends. On November 9th, 2022, the jury sentenced Parker to death. She became one of a very small number of women on Texas death row. She is currently housed at the Patrick L. O'Daniel Unit in Gatesville. The sentence did not end the case. Death penalty convictions trigger years of mandatory and collateral review. Parker appealed, challenging the kidnapping theory, the evidence that Braxlynn had been born alive, pre-trial publicity, venue, and several trial rulings. In November 2025, the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals affirmed both the conviction and death sentence. The court held that the evidence was sufficient for a rational jury to find that Braxlynn had been born alive, and that Parker committed or attempted to commit kidnapping when she took her. The court rejected all 25 points of error raised in the direct appeal. In 2026, the United States Supreme Court declined to review her petition. That did not immediately set an execution date. Additional state and federal post-conviction proceedings may still continue, but her capital conviction remains intact. After the Netflix documentary, new public attention shifted toward people living with the aftermath. Homer Hancock, Reagan's widower, has raised their surviving daughter away from the courtroom spectacle. Public reporting confirms that he filed a civil lawsuit in 2022 connected to Reagan and Braxlynn's deaths. Online discussion has since mixed that lawsuit with private claims about custody, family access, and new relationships. Those issues should be treated cautiously. The reliable public record does not provide enough information to judge the private decisions made for Reagan's daughter. Her welfare should not become entertainment. The documentary also made a deliberate choice not to center Parker's voice. Director Jessica Dimmock said the production focused on Reagan's family, Wade Griffin, and the people affected by Parker's deception. That decision matters. True crime stories often become fascinated with the offender, their personality, their childhood, their prison life, and every new statement they make. Meanwhile, the victim becomes the opening chapter. Maternal instinct attempted to reverse that balance. The jail calls still have value. Not because they offer a secret confession. Parker had already been linked to overwhelming evidence. The calls matter because they reveal the distance between how Parker viewed herself and how others viewed what she had done. She spoke about one horrible thing. Her mother spoke about the children she had ignored. Prosecutors saw manipulation. The victims' families saw 2 lives taken to preserve a lie. Taylor Parker's story is sometimes described as a case of stolen motherhood. But that language can be misleading. She did not lack children. She lacked a pregnancy. And rather than admit the truth, she built a deception so large that maintaining it became more important than the lives around her. Every fake appointment created another deadline. Every photograph created another witness. Every lie demanded a larger lie. Eventually, there was nowhere left for the story to go, except into violence. Reagan Simmons-Hancock should remain at the center. She was 21. She was a wife, a mother, a daughter, and a friend. She was preparing to welcome Braxlynn into a family that already loved her. The prosecution said Reagan died fighting for her child. That is how her family remembers her. Not as the final victim in Taylor Parker's deception, but as a mother who resisted until she could not fight any longer. Braxlynn also mattered independently. The appeals focused heavily on whether she was born alive, because that legal question determined whether kidnapping could support the capital murder conviction. But for the family, she was never merely an element inside a criminal statute. She had a name, a nursery, a sister waiting for her, and a future already imagined. Taylor Parker still appeared capable of reshaping the story around herself, while Reagan's future and Braxlynn's had already been erased. Thanks for joining me tonight. Until next time, stay curious, stay safe, take care of your loved ones, and I'll see you on the next episode of the podcast You Can't Unhear.